Isn't it fascinating how desperately we pursue the approval and attraction of others? We buy books, attend seminars, change our appearances, modify our personalities, all in this relentless quest to become irresistible. But what if I told you that the very act of trying to be irresistible is precisely what makes you resistible? That the pursuit itself creates the very distance it seeks to eliminate? You see, we have this extraordinary misconception about attraction, about connection, about what it means to be truly present with another human being. We think of it as something we must achieve, something we must work toward, something we must become. But that's rather like trying to forcibly open a flower bud, isn't it? The more you pull at the petals, the more you destroy the very thing you're trying to reveal. The first word I'd like to offer you is presence. But not presence as you might conventionally understand it. Not presence as in being there physically. Rather, presence as the complete abandonment of elsewhere. You see, most people aren't actually present in their interactions. They're scattered across time, part of them rehearsing what to say next, part of them analyzing what they just said, part of them wondering what the other person is thinking, part of them planning tomorrow's activities, part of them regretting yesterday's mistakes. They're anywhere and everywhere except here. True presence is extraordinarily rare and therefore extraordinarily attractive. When someone experiences you as fully present, not distracted by your own thoughts about yourself, not calculating your next move, not evaluating your performance, they experience something almost shocking in its unfamiliarity. They experience being seen, not your projection of them, not your hopes for them, not your fears about them, but them as they are in this moment. What happens when you're truly present with another person? They feel recognized in a way they seldom do. Most of us walk through life with the uncanny feeling that no one really sees us. We're performing versions of ourselves, and others are relating to our performances, not to us. But when someone is completely present with us, there's a recognition that cuts through all performance. It's as if they're saying without words, "I see you." And being truly seen is what we all crave at the deepest level. The extraordinary thing about presence is that it can't be faked. You either are or aren't here now. The mind is tremendously clever at simulating presence, nodding at the right moments, making appropriate eye contact, saying, and "I understand." But there's an unmistakable quality to genuine presence that cannot be imitated. And that quality is sensed, not through any particular action you take, but through the stillness that permeates your interaction. Imagine meeting someone who isn't trying to be anything in particular with you. They're not trying to impress you or get something from you. They're simply here, with the entirety of their attention. Wouldn't that be startling? Wouldn't that be magnetic? In a world of partial attention and strategic self-presentation, complete presence is revolutionary. The second word I offer you is curiosity. But again, not curiosity as you might conventionally understand it, not curiosity as a technique or a conversational strategy. Rather, curiosity as a state of mind that sees each person as an entirely new universe, never before encountered. You see, we think we know people. We put them into categories. This is a businessman, this is an artist, this is an intellectual, this is a manual laborer. And once categorized, we relate not to them, but to our idea of their category. We've turned them into concepts. And concepts are inherently dead things. They don't breathe, they don't surprise, they don't delight. True curiosity approaches each person as absolutely unique, never before seen on this planet, utterly mysterious. And approaching someone with this kind of curiosity is intoxicating to them because, again, it's so rarely experienced. Most of us move through life feeling known before we open our mouths, prejudged, categorized, understood in advance. But to be approached with genuine curiosity is to be granted the dignity of your own mystery. Curiosity without agenda is particularly powerful. Most curiosity has hidden agendas. I'm curious about you because I want to know if you're worth my time, if you can help my career, if you'd make a suitable partner. But curiosity without agenda, curiosity for its own sake, curiosity as a form of appreciation, that's an entirely different matter. That's curiosity as a form of love. What happens when you're genuinely curious about another person? You ask questions that aren't designed to confirm what you already believe. You listen without preparing your response. You allow yourself to be surprised, confused, delighted. And in doing so, you create a space where the other person can be surprising, confusing, delighting, which is to say, fully alive. The tremendous irony here is that becoming irresistible has nothing to do with making yourself more attractive and everything to do with becoming more attentive. It's not about being interesting, it's about being interested. Not about being impressive, about being impressed. Not about being desired, about being engaged. The third word I offer you is vulnerability, but not vulnerability as performance, not vulnerability as strategy. Rather, vulnerability as the courage to be seen as you are, without the armor of personas and performances. You see, we're all, in our own ways, terrified of being truly seen. We've constructed elaborate architectures of personality, ways of speaking, dressing, moving, thinking, designed to present a version of ourselves that we believe will be acceptable. And we become so habituated to these architectures that we mistake them for ourselves. We forget what we're hiding, because we've been hiding it for so long. True vulnerability isn't about dramatic confessions or emotional exhibitions. It's much subtler than that. It's the willingness to be present without a script, to respond authentically rather than strategically, to allow yourself to be affected by another person rather than maintaining perfect emotional independence. And this kind of vulnerability is profoundly attractive because, again, it's so rare. Most people are playing it safe in their interactions. They're following social scripts, maintaining appropriate distance, ensuring that nothing too real happens. But when someone encounters a person who isn't playing it safe, who is responding from a place of genuine feeling rather than social calculation, they encounter something alive, and aliveness is magnetic. What happens when you're truly vulnerable with another person? You create the conditions for genuine connection, which is what we all want but rarely experience. Connection doesn't happen between personas. It happens between people. And people only emerge when the personas are temporarily set aside. Now, I can hear the objections arising. But Alan, if I'm completely present, genuinely curious, and truly vulnerable, won't I be taken advantage of? Won't I be hurt? Won't I be rejected? And these are reasonable concerns. The world can indeed be a painful place. But consider the alternative, a life of strategic self-presentation, of emotional safety, of controlled interactions. Is that really living? Or is it merely surviving? The paradox is that in trying to protect ourselves from pain, we also protect ourselves from joy, from connection, from all the things that make life worth living. The armor that keeps out hurt also keeps out love. The distance that prevents rejection also prevents intimacy. The control that avoids embarrassment also avoids delight. Let's consider these three words: presence, curiosity, vulnerability, not as techniques to be deployed, but as qualities to be embodied, not as things you do, but as ways you are. And let's consider how they might transform your interactions, not just with potential romantic partners, but with everyone you encounter. Presence means that when you're with someone, you're actually with them. Your attention isn't divided between them and your phone, between them and your thoughts, between them and your concerns. You're here, now, with the entirety of your awareness. And this quality of attention is like water in a desert, so rare that when it's encountered, it's almost shocking. Curiosity means that you approach each person as an entirely new phenomenon, never before seen. You don't assume you know who they are based on their appearance, their occupation, their background. You allow them to reveal themselves. moment by moment, and you receive these revelations with delight rather than judgment. Vulnerability means that you don't hide behind a facade of perfection or indifference. You allow yourself to be moved, to be affected, to be changed by your interactions. You don't maintain an impenetrable emotional distance. You're willing to be seen as you are, which creates the possibility for the other person to be seen as they are. Together, these qualities create the conditions for genuine connection, which is what makes someone irresistible. Not their looks, not their status, not their accomplishments, but their capacity to be real in a world of artifice, to be present in a world of distraction, to be genuine in a world of performance. Now, I should acknowledge that this approach to attraction is quite different from what you might find in conventional advice. It's not about techniques or strategies or lines. It's not about making yourself more physically attractive or socially impressive. It's about removing the obstacles to connection, which primarily exist in our own minds. The irony is that becoming irresistible has very little to do with adding anything to yourself, and everything to do with removing the barriers you've erected between yourself and others. It's not about becoming more. It's about becoming less guarded, less strategic, less self-conscious. And here's the deeper irony. When you stop trying to be irresistible, that's precisely when you become so. When you abandon the project of managing others' perceptions of you, you become authentic. And authenticity, in a world drowning in performance, is the most attractive quality of all. Consider for a moment how exhausting it is to maintain a persona, to constantly monitor how you're being perceived, to strategically present yourself in the most favorable light, to hide your flaws and amplify your virtues. It's utterly draining, isn't it? And the tragedy is that this exhausting performance doesn't even work. People sense the artifice. They may not consciously identify it, but they feel it. They feel the gap between the performance and the person. But when you let go of all that, when you simply show up as you are, with presence, curiosity, and vulnerability, you create the conditions for genuine connection. And connection is what we all crave. More than admiration, more than desire, more than any of the substitutes we settle for. The great misunderstanding about attraction is that it's primarily physical or social, that it's about looks or status or charm. But the deepest form of attraction, the kind that doesn't fade after the initial impression, is spiritual in nature. It's the attraction we feel toward that which is real, that which is alive, that which is authentic. And this is why presence, curiosity, and vulnerability are so powerful. They are qualities of realness, of aliveness, of authenticity. They cut through the fog of social performance and touch something essential in the other person. They say, without words, I am here, I am real, I am open to you. In a world where most interactions are transactional, where people are constantly evaluating what they can get from each other, how they can use each other, how they can benefit from each other, interactions characterized by presence, curiosity, and vulnerability stand out as radically different. They're not about getting, they're about being. Not about using, about appreciating. Not about benefiting, about connecting. And this difference is felt immediately. It's felt as a relief, as a breath of fresh air, as a respite from the exhausting game of social positioning. It's felt as an invitation to set down, if only temporarily, the heavy burden of self-presentation. It's felt as permission to be real. So if you want to be irresistible, not just to any particular man, but to anyone capable of genuine connection, then cultivate these qualities. Not as techniques to get something, but as ways of being that create the conditions for authentic relationship. Presence says, I am here with you, fully. Curiosity says, I see you as you are, not as I imagine you to be. Vulnerability says, I am open to you, without armor or pretense. Together, these qualities create a field of authentic connection that is increasingly rare in our distracted, strategic, guarded world. And in that rarity lies their power. In a desert, a single drop of water is precious. In a world starved for authentic connection, a single moment of genuine presence, curiosity, and vulnerability can be transformative. The final paradox is this: becoming irresistible isn't about you at all. It's not about making yourself more attractive or impressive. It's about creating the conditions in which genuine connection can occur. And those conditions have very little to do with you and everything to do with the quality of attention and openness you bring to your interactions. So forget about being irresistible. Forget about being anything in particular. Instead, be present, be curious, be vulnerable, be real. The rest will take care of itself. And if you found value in these reflections, consider subscribing to this channel and leaving a like. Share in the comments below a moment when you experienced genuine connection with another person. What made it different from your everyday interactions? What qualities were present that are often missing in our hurried exchanges? Your insights might illuminate the path for others seeking deeper connection in their lives.